Hare Krishna, everyone. Dear devotees, welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books and the BBT books. Yes, empowered by Srila Prabhupada. And Gopiparanadhana Prabhu was one of those very special souls empowered by Srila Prabhupada and loyal and faithful to Srila Prabhupada and knowledgeable and knew the books. And therefore his translation of this Brhad Bhagavatamrta elicited a very marvelous response in the heart of Joseph T. O'Connell, who was the top authority in the academic world in those days before he passed away. And he glorified Gopiparanadhana Prabhu and the BBT and even the English editors, because he was very impressed with this translation of the Brhad Bhagavatamrta. He said it contained nothing, it didn't leave anything out, it didn't add anything. It was very transparent to the Sanskrit meanings and at the same time realized in the way it was presented. So we can share in this nectar. But first, let's recite the Srimad Bhagavatami Mastodram, also by Sanatana Goswami, glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam, the basis of all transcendental literature, the mature work of Vyasadeva, summarizing the Vedanta Sutra and all the Vedas, the essence of all the Vedas. The Brhad Bhagavatamrta is the essence of all the Vedas. It goes like this. Sarva Shastabdi Piyusha Sarva Vedaika Satpala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya Sarva Lokaika Drikprada. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Prabhu Kali Dvandodita Ditya Sri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master, Srimad Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya Prema Varshakshadayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Sri Krishnaya Namostume. I bow down to you, who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. Madeka Bando Matsangin Madguro Man Mahadana Manistadaka Madbhagya Mad Anandana Mostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Asadu saduta dayin atini chochata kada hanamuncha kada chinmam premna rit kantayospura. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, we're in the midst of a beautiful explanation of the Vaikuntha Dutas educating Gopakumar, giving him more information about spiritual life, and particularly their correcting or elucidating on the instructions that Gopakumar received in Tapoloka. So we're starting with text 177 in the 3rd chapter of the 2nd part of Brhad Bhagavatamrta. The Vaikuntha Dutas are speaking to Gopakumar. By the force of the vast mercy of the Lord, or by the natural influence of devotional service, one can see him. So even with the limited eyes, one can achieve the constant vision one may have with the mind in meditation. Commentary. Now the Vaikuntha Dutas, willing to go along no further with Pipalayana's thinking, refute one of his ideas. So you remember that they are agreeing with the Tapabas, with Sanat, the 4 Kumaras, and Pipalayana Rishi and the other great sages in Tapoloka, in the sense that meditation can be the best form of devotional service if that meditation has come to the point where you can do all the 9 processes of devotional service in the personal company or presence of the Lord within the mind. But if your meditation hasn't come to that point, it holds no comparison to Nam Sankirtan, which now they're going to elaborate on. Now the Vaikuntha Dutas, willing to go along no further with Pipalayana's thinking, refute one of his ideas. Pipalayana might say, seeing the Supreme Lord with one's own eyes is imperfect because by nature external perception is imperfect. Interruptions and obstacles will inevitably impede one's external vision of the Lord. The mind, however, is extremely subtle. It can reach everywhere and enjoy undisturbed darshan of the Lord in all circumstances. Although this is not one of the things Pipalayana told Gopakumar on Tapoloka, the Vaikuntha Dutas refute it in this verse. By the Supreme Lord's infinite mercy, even external eyes can see him in all his splendor. This is further evidence of the great efficacy of devotional service. Text 178. If this were not so, by no means would one be able to see the self-effulgent Supreme Controller, even within the mind. When the Lord is worshipped in any manner, he bestows intense happiness, for he is the very embodiment of such happiness. Commentary. If the Lord's special mercy and the potency of devotional service were not the true causes of realizing him, even a mental vision of him would be impossible. For he is self-manifesting, never an object of sensory or mental perception. Because he is the completely independent controller of everyone, no one can force him to reveal himself. A proponent of inner meditation may argue that by perceiving the Lord internally, the mind with its unlimited scope enjoys unlimited bliss, whereas the limited eyes can perceive only a small fraction of such pleasure. But the Vaikuntha Dutas reply that when devotees worship the personality of Godhead by any of the methods of devotional service, whether by mental meditation or by the direct perception and activity of the external senses, the Lord bestows intense happiness. In fact, according to the Taittiriya Upanishad 2.7. Boundless pleasure is the very nature of the Supreme. Raso vai sa rasam yivayam labvananadi bhavati. The Supreme is rasa itself. When a living being obtains this rasa, he becomes blissful. Text 179. We everywhere find that by seeing the Lord with the eyes, one achieves His mercy in all its forms, and the most intense and excellent joy. Indeed, to see Him is the goal of hearing and of all the other ways of devotional service. Commentary. Superior to the fruits of realizing the Lord inwardly are the fruits of seeing the Lord with one's own eyes. Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas record how Vaishnavas like Kardama and Prahlad received abundant mercy from the Supreme Lord when they met Him in person. On Tapoloka, the sage Pipalayana told Gopakumar about Sri Brahma's attaining similar mercy from the Lord through meditation, but that kind of success from meditation occurs in only a very few instances for a rare, fortunate person like Brahma. And the Vaikuntha messengers declare, besides, that the joy felt from directly perceiving the personality of Godhead with one's senses is unequaled. This complete vision, gained by devotional service in the forms of hearing, chanting, remembering, and so on, is also the ultimate fruit of the devotional service performed by inward meditation. Text 180. By all methods of spiritual discipline, seeing the Lord in person is the true reward to be attained. That alone destroys illusion down to the root, so that pure love of God may flourish. Commentary. The direct vision of Lord Vishnu, being the supreme fruit of all endeavors, is preferable even to realization of the Lord by meditation. In fact, when one sees the Lord directly, one's forgetfulness of Him, which is the root of illusion, is destroyed. This is described in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.21. Vidyate, vidyate, hridaya grantish, chidyante sarvasangchayaha, chiyante chasya karmani, drishta evat manishvare. Thus the knot of the heart is pierced, and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions are terminated when one sees the Lord as Master. The entanglements of material work, the doubts and confusions of material consciousness, and the knots of material desires all encumber the conditioned soul. But when he again finds his dearmost friend, the Supreme Soul, he transcends all these anomalies. Hare Krishna. When one perceives the beauty and charm of prema for Lord Vishnu, the natural urge of pure love spontaneously arises in one's heart. 181. Although devotees like Prahlad, the son of Kayadu, saw the Lord in their hearts, they always yearned to see Him with their eyes. For this, the proof is that when they finally saw Him, they felt special ecstasies. Commentary. The experiences of Prahlad and other great devotees should be taken seriously because sadachar, the behavior of elevated persons, is important evidence for judging what is of true value. According to Sri Haribhakti Sudodaya, it was after Prahlad first saw Lord Nishinga that Prahlad's pure love fully blossomed. Text 182. When some devotees, even while seeing Krishna in person, close their eyes and appear to withdraw into their minds. This may seem to be meditation, but in fact it is not. Rather, it is a transformation brought on by excessive joy, like the trembling and other signs of ecstasy in devotees in pure love. Commentary. This verse answers the possible objection that when Sanaka Kumara and his brothers met the Lord of Vaikuntha, they went into a trance of meditation. As described by Maitreya Muni in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam 3:15-44, the Lord's beautiful face appeared to them like the inside of a blue lotus, and the Lord's smile appeared like a blossoming jasmine. After seeing the face of the Lord, the sages were fully satisfied, and when they wanted to see him further, they looked upon the nails on his lotus feet, which resembled rubies. Thus they viewed the Lord's transcendental body again and again, and so they finally achieved meditation on the Lord's personal feature. In this verse, the word nidadyu, from the verb nijai, to meditate deeply, seems to indicate that when the Kumaras saw the Lord, they passively withdrew into meditative contemplation. But as the Vaikuntha duties point out, we should not judge simply from the outward appearance of these symptoms. Closing of the eyes and ceasing from bodily movements need not be signs of meditative trance. They may instead be physical expressions of bhavas, devotional ecstasies, similar to other signs of ecstasy, like trembling, perspiration, and standing up of the bodily hair. Maitreya Muni described the ecstasy of the Kumaras as meditation only because it seemed so externally. Therefore, the superiority of directly seeing the Lord with one's own eyes stands undefeated. Text 183. Meditation makes sense when the Supreme Lord cannot be seen, not when he is directly present. But Sankirtan is always befitting, whether the Lord is visible or not. Commentary. Drawing the argument to a close on an especially sweet note, Madhurena Samapayat, the messengers of Vaikuntha reiterate the importance of Nam Sankirtan. Seeing the Supreme Lord with one's own eyes is more desirable than merely seeing him in meditation. And the best means of achieving direct vision of him is to chant his holy names. The behavior of all kinds of devotees of the Lord gives ample evidence that in every situation Sankirtan is appropriate. For example, as described in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:33-7, the gopis of Vrindavan chanted his names while dancing with him in their Rasa Leela. As the gopis sang in praise of Krishna, their feet danced, their hands gestured, and their eyebrows moved with playful smiles. With their braids and belts tied tight, their waists bending, their faces perspiring, the garments on their breasts moving this way and that, and their earrings swinging on their cheeks, Lord Krishna's young consorts shone like streaks of lightning in a mass of clouds. This is also described in Sri Vishnu Purana 5:13, 52, and 56. Krishna sang about the glories of the autumn moon, whose beams awaken the night-blooming lotuses. Meanwhile, the gopis simply chanted Krishna's name over and over again. Krishna sang a Rasa Leela song, his voice becoming louder and louder. In response, the gopis sang twice as loud, "Wonderful, O Krishna, O Krishna." The 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam tells of several instances in which devotees chant Krishna's glories in his absence, as in the prayers sung by the gopis before the rasa dance, chapter 31, and after Krishna disappeared from the dance, chapter 35, and later during Uddhava's visit to Vrindavan, chapter 47. Text 184. Dearer to the Lord than even his own beautiful form, his easily worshipped holy name benefits the entire world. Indeed, nothing is as full of nectar as the holy name of the Lord. Commentary. In conclusion, the Vaikuntha Dutas wholeheartedly glorify Sri Bhagavan Nam Sankirtan. Sankirtan is all attractive, full with all power, beauty, and opulence. It exerts its powerful influence over anyone who takes part in it, anywhere and any time. The Lord of Vaikuntha himself is more attracted to his holy name than to his own supreme beauty. The Supreme Lord may indeed regard something as more dear than his own transcendental form. For example, in Srimad Bhagavatam 11:14-15, Krishna told Uddhava, Natata me priyatama atmayonir nashankaraha natcha sankarshano nasrir naivatma chayata bhavan. Neither Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Sankarshan, the goddess of fortune, nor indeed my own self is as dear to me as you. The holy name of the Lord is incomparable. Nothing else can equal or surpass it. The holy name is the Lord's supreme blessing for the world's welfare, benefiting everyone, properly qualified or not, who serves it with any of the senses. It is easily worshipped, requiring only some movement of the tip of the tongue. And it is sarasa, full of rasa, a term that can be understood in several ways. Sarasa can mean very gentle, since the holy names consist of sweet-sounding syllables. It can also mean composed of pure spiritual substance, Satchidananda. Or it can mean that the holy names are accompanied by all the various devotional relationships, the 9 rasas headed by Sringara, Madhurya rasa. In the pure chanting of the holy names, all these varieties of prema rasa are manifest. In the moods of both separation, viraha, and meeting, sangha. Rasa also means attraction to Krishna, raga, which devotees performing Sankirtan unavoidably experience as their Krishna prema is rapidly evoked by the holy names. In other words, the Lord's Sankirtan inspires his servants and everyone else to become attracted to the Lord. Rasa also means special potency, virya vishesh. Virya vishesha. The chanting of the holy names is extremely powerful, and rasa can mean exceptional quality, guna vishesha, indicating that in the present context, that Nam Sankirtan has the power to deliver the most fallen persons in the world. Rasa also means exceptional happiness, sukha vishesha. Harinam is the most concentrated essence of happiness. And it also means exceptional sweetness, madhurya vishesha. Nam Sankirtan is often glorified for its sweetness, as in this famous verse from the Prabhaskanda of the Skanda Purana. Madhuram Madhuram Etan Mangalam Mangalanam sakala nigama vali satpalam chit sarupam sakrit apiparigitam shadaya helaya va briguvaranada matram tadayat krishnanama. O best of the Brigu dynasty, the holy name of Krishna is the sweetest of the sweet, the most auspicious of the auspicious. This transcendental fruit of all the Vedas is purely spiritual. Whoever chants it but once, whether with faith or with contempt, is liberated. Even more meanings of the word rasa could be applied to interpreting this verse, but the above examples give at least some understanding of the greatness of Sankirtan. Text 185. Therefore, honoring the order of Lord Shiva, you should leave this place at once. Go to divine Mathura, the place most dear to Krishna. O Mathura, we bow down to you. Commentary. Lord Shiva has already advised Gopakumar to leave Mahakalapur and go to Mathura on the earth. Now the Vaikuntha messengers encourage him to do this at once. The very reason they came down from Vaikuntha was to make Gopakumar return to Bhauma Vrindavan. In case Gopakumar, having traveled so far to reach the abode of liberation, questions why he should go back to where he started from, the Vaikuntha Dutas assure him that Sri Mathura, Krishna's favorite place, will shower him with the fulfillment of all his ambitions without delay. 186. Sri Gopakumar said, upon drinking this invigorating tonic for the ears and heart, I was filled with delight. I bowed down to the messengers from Vaikuntha and to Lord Shiva and his wife, and by their grace I was swept at once to this Brajabhumi. Oh, how my mind was stunned. Commentary. A moment before, Gopakumar had been offering prostrate obeisances, and now, when he looked up, he suddenly found himself in Brajabhumi. This left him bewildered. Thus end the third chapter of part 2 of Srila Sanatana Goswami's Brhad Bhagavatamrta, entitled Bhajan, Worship. Hare Krishna. All glories to Lord Shiva and Parvati. All glories to the Vaikuntha Dutas. All glories to Gopakumar's transcendental voyage. All glories to the holy name of the Lord. All glories to the 10-syllable Gopal mantra. All glories to pure devotional service of the Lord. Hare Krishna. All right, let's move on. We've still got some time. Chapter 4, Vaikuntha, the spiritual kingdom. Text 1. I wandered alone, observing on the earth a splendor I had never seen before, taking up residence in a forest, as if in a daze I forgot everything from before. Commentary. This fourth chapter describes the transcendental reality of Vaikuntha and the appearance and qualities of its inhabitants. The chapter glorifies the deity forms of the Supreme Lord and extols the position of Ayodhya above Vaikuntha and of Dwarka above Ayodhya. The first part of the chapter shows that Sri Brajabhumi in Mathura district is superior to every other place in the material universe and even to the abode of liberation. When Gopakumar returned to the earth, he could see with his own eyes the special beauty of Vrindavan forest and the rest of Brajabhumi. Nowhere else, inside or outside this universe, had he seen such splendor. taking up residence again in the various forests of Braja. Gopakumar was so enchanted that he forgot everything the associates of Lord Narayana had told him about how to attain the spiritual kingdom of Vaikuntha. The very name of this district, Mathura, implies that it charms and agitates, literally churns, matnati, the mind of everyone who goes there. Text 2. In the course of my playful wandering, I came to Mathura, Sri Madhupuri. There I heard the Bhagavatam and other scriptures from the local brahmanas. Commentary. By the grace of the Lord of Mathura, Gopakumar obtained everything he desired. Following the regular parikrama path, he eventually arrived in Mathura city. Then the devoted and learned brahmanas of Mathura taught him the essence of the revealed scriptures, primarily as given in Srimad Bhagavatam and a few other texts that faithfully follow the Bhagavatam on the science of Bhagavad Bhakti. Text 3. After rightly understanding the meaning of devotional service in its 9 forms, I came to this forest, and as soon as I arrived, I met my divine spiritual master. Commentary. By hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from the qualified Mathura Brahmanas, at last Gopakumar systematically learned the science of devotional service. He learned what is favorable and unfavorable to bhakti, or in other words, what a devotee should accept and what he should reject. This knowledge of Bhagavad Dharma enabled him to properly value the association of Sri Vrindavan Dham and of that special resident of Vrindavan, his spiritual master. Text 4. He appeared splendid just as before, and when he saw me lying prostrate before him, he joyfully embraced me and offered his blessings. Thus my all-knowing master showed me his extreme mercy. Commentary. In all the time that Gopakumar had been away on higher planets, his spiritual master had not changed, so it was easy for Gopakumar to accept that the spiritual master was both an incarnation of the Supreme Lord and a Rasika expert in the unique mood of Brajabhumi. The spiritual master showed Gopakumar complete mercy by teaching him enough about devotional service to lead him through the entire process, up to the stage of full realization. Being omniscient, the spiritual master was competent to perform this service. Text 5. Receiving his grace, which revealed to me the most confidential secrets, I followed his instructions by practicing bhakti yoga without interruption. Commentary. Devotional service is the highest form of yoga because it is the means for attaining the world of Vaikuntha and, even more important, re-establishing one's own connection with the personality of Godhead's lotus feet. Gopakumar now endeavored with all sincerity to follow this process systematically, according to his Guru's instructions. Text 6 and 7. Such a flood of pure love of God so quickly awakened within me that I lost control of myself. I was unable to do anything but chant the Lord's glories. O Sri Krishna, Gopal, Hari, Mukunda, Govinda, O Nandakishore, Krishna, O darling son of Yashoda, please show me your favor. O life of the divine cowherd girls, O Lord of Radhika. These were all names of Krishna. Sanja Tina Chidat Prema Purina Vishvasho Babam Nakar Tum ashakam kinchit padam tam samakirtayam. Sri Krishna Gopala, Hare Mukunda, Govinda, Hey Nandakishore, Krishna, Ha, Sri Yashoda, Tanaya Prasida, Sri Balabi, Jivana, Radhikesha. O Sri Krishna Gopala, Hari Mukunda, Govinda, O Nandakishore, Krishna, O darling son of Sri Yashoda, please show me your favor. O life of the divine cowherd girls, O Lord of Radhika. Commentary. On this visit to Rajabhumi, Gopakumar quickly achieved the perfection of prema bhakti. This prema so overwhelmed him that he was unable to do anything but sing the Lord's glories. He could not even perform proper worship. To show his student how he was performing Nam Sankirtan, Gopakumar here chants a few of the Supreme Lord's favorite names. Text 8. Thus I called out to Krishna and sang his glories in various ways. At one moment I danced exuberantly, at another sobbed out loud. Like a madman I wandered here and there, according to my whims, forgetting my own body and everything else. Commentary. Caught up in this state of pure love, Gopakumar completely disregarded external conditions. He wandered aimlessly like a madman, expressing his transcendental agitation by calling out such things as, "Where are you? Where are you, O mighty armed one?" Text 9. Once I thought I saw the Lord of my life standing before me, and I ran to take hold of him. Overwhelmed by love, I fainted and fell to the ground. Commentary. The phrase prema vibala, overwhelmed by love, explains why Gopakumar was behaving so strangely. Text 10 and 11. At that moment, the associates of the Lord arrived in an airplane to take me to Vaikuntha. They at once put me on that plane and carried me away. And when I opened my eyes, I saw that everything was different. Shocked, I returned to full consciousness and saw them beside me, the same benefactors I had met before. Commentary. Just as Gopakumar's pure love reached its peak, the messengers of Vaikuntha came to bring him to their Lord's kingdom. They took Gopakumar unconscious onto their Vaikuntha vehicle, and while in flight, he woke up. Opening his eyes and looking around, he was astonished to find himself in unfamiliar surroundings. He was certainly no longer in Brajabhumi. The Vaikuntha Dutas, Lord Gopakumar's instructors, had previously evoked in him a desire to see Vaikuntha and had taught him the specific methods for approaching Vaikuntha. Now, by carrying him there, they were personally awarding him the success of his endeavors. Text 12. The plane upon which they rode was wonderful, incomparable, indescribably beautiful, excelling in brilliance the most powerful luminaries. Commentary. The airplane from Vaikuntha glowed more brilliantly than the sun. In the material world, airplanes, vimanas, also transport the demigods through outer space. But those material airplanes are nothing like the one Gopakumar and his escorts were riding. It was certainly yogya, a suitable conveyance for Gopakumar. Words could not describe how elegantly it was built, since it was manifested from the pure substance of the spiritual world. Text 13. As I reverently offered obeisances, those associates of the Lord embraced me and reassured me again and again, putting forward hundreds of arguments. They wished to give me a bodily form like theirs. Commentary. The associates of Narayana assured Gopakumar that he need not be so surprised and should not treat them with such reverence. They were his friends, they told him, and they were now bringing him to Vaikuntha. They furthermore tried to convince him to accept a Vaikuntha body like theirs, with 4 arms. His human body, they argued, was not suitable for living in Vaikuntha. It would not be adequate for fully enjoying Vaikuntha life. Text 14. But I refused their offer, and instead, by their influence, my own body, born in Govardhan, assumed qualities and beauty like theirs. Commentary. Gopakumar did not want to accept Sarupya Mukti, the form of liberation in which one's body is virtually indistinguishable from that of Lord Narayana. He was satisfied with the body of a resident of Govardhan. Nonetheless, his hosts blessed his body with qualities like theirs, making it eternal, pure, purely spiritual, and effulgent. In addition, Gopakumar gained the mystic powers to do whatever he might want, powers that all residents of Vaikuntha naturally possesses. Text 15. And I'll stop there. It's 8 o'clock exactly, and now we'll be able to hear tomorrow what Vaikuntha is like. We're getting this intimate knowledge of how all these different places in the universe and outside the universe, what they're like. It's incredible literature. Brhad Bhagavatamrta. Okay, Hare Krishna. If there's anything that stuck in your minds and you want to reflect upon, comment upon, discuss, please be our guest.
Raj Vallabha.
Hare Krishna Braj, first off the blocks.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. I notice how humble Gopakumar is as he goes through the universe. I have to say I have a new appreciation of Mathura and Vrindavan now beyond what I had.
Mm.
I want to see Krishna with my eyes in this lifetime.
Mm.
Why should a devotee not want this goal, even if it is not realistic?
Well, first of all, it is realistic because we are eternal servants of Krishna. And we can see the Lord face to face, even in this picture, and especially in the deity form. If the form appears on your screen, on your computer screen, you see him face to face. There may be a difference, but it is still non-different at the same time. Mm. So, but some people, as was pointed out, will see the Lord face to face and yet not know what to do because they don't have love for the Lord. It's possible to see the Lord without having love for the Lord. When one example is Daksha. You know, Daksha was very qualified. He was one of the mind-born sons of Brahma, and he was a Prajapati, and therefore his service was to produce children, to populate the universe. But because of that attachment to that act, and that attachment, he wasn't actually qualified to see the Lord, but because he performed a lot of sacrifices, and he was a big authority Of course, later on he got his head chopped off by Shiva for being envious of Lord Shiva. And this was his problem. He was too proud of his opulence, too proud of his wealth, too proud of his ability, of his expertise. Therefore, he had to have his head removed. But even before that, when he saw Vishnu after a sacrifice, he didn't know what to do. When Krishna appeared on the earth, there were so many people who saw him. Of course, when he appears as Lord Chaitanya, Radha and Krishna together, everyone who saw him immediately became full of love of God, fully perfect. So there are different conditions of seeing the Lord face to face, and the effect on the soul is different depending on their condition. But it's also true that the beginning of seeing the Lord face to face is the holy name and the holy Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures, and the deity form, Archa, Murti, the incarnation of the Lord in material elements. So because all of the elements are transformations of the potencies of Krishna, therefore when the Lord appears in any form, whether it be paint or gold or marble or wood or even the mind, one can get the benefit of seeing Krishna face to face in that way. But it depends on one's consciousness. So the quality or the ticket, the currency to get that realization is an extreme eagerness to want to see him and be with him. And that begins with learning that the material world isn't what it's cracked up to be when you were growing up, what your parents told you, and all these things. So once it sinks in that even the most auspicious material situation eventually leads to some kind of disappointment or suffering or another, then one becomes inquisitive. I've had experience of devotees that came into the temple and loved the atmosphere. When they looked at the altar, they couldn't see anything. I've seen that. I've heard of this, of devotees and other guests having that situation. So if you can walk into any ISKCON temple and look at the beautiful form of the Lord and appreciate it and bow down, that's the beginning of your pure devotional service. Or if you're walking down the street and you hear the ching, 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 and then you hear the Lord's name, and even if you're making fun of it, or if you just like it, that's it. Your devotional life has begun, and it's just a matter of time. Hare Krishna.
So I want to see him with love, not like an arrogant fool.
Well, he'll take care of that. The love is already there. The love is already there. It just has to be awakened. The holy name is like a transcendental alarm clock. And we just have to learn how to chant without offense. That's the stage we're at now. We want to become free from offense. Anartha nivritti, then nishta, when you get, not all the way, but most of your anarthas are gone, almost all of them, still some is there, then you'll become fixed, and your faith will become strong, and then you hear with that consciousness, which you're already doing, by the way, Brajbalava, Prabhu, and then the desire will grow, and the material attachments will fall away naturally, without a separate endeavor. Hare Krishna.
From Noel Craver.
Bhakti Noel, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Such detailed nectar shared with us again today. This text has a nice flow. My mind, heart and soul become immediately enveloped from these transcendental words. I'm grateful.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
From Rati Manjari.
Haribo Rati.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. If I heard correctly, tonight Gopakumar refused to accept the Swarupya liberation. We often hear and read that as devotees we should be grateful to accept whatever the Lord offers and be satisfied. How do we reconcile these 2 points? Could you please elaborate?
Because Gopakumar is in his eternal form already. He's above Sarupya liberation. In Vaikuntha there's Sarupya liberation, where you get a form similar to the body of the Lord. But in Goloka-Vrindavan, nobody has a form exactly like Krishna's. And Krishna they don't even know Krishna's God. So this is a higher position. And Gopakumar has already attained it. But the Lord wants him to go through all of these experiences, so that he becomes fully enlightened. So, if you notice in another verse, it said even when he rejected the Vaikuntha body, he saw his body changing in quality. So his body became the same quality. It's spiritual. This is the point where he attains a spiritual body. Because you can't go to Vaikuntha in a material body. Even when Dhruva Maharaj got on the airplane, his body changed. It was the self-same body, but that body changed. Transformed. So that's how you reconcile. He did get a spiritual body, but he doesn't belong in Vaikuntha. And we'll see that in a little longer, in a little while. Hare Krishna. Okay. I thank you all very much. Wait, we have something else.
From Rachi Manjari. This is a fantastic question, considering my current level of advancement. But can we expect to have the Lord test us, like He's kind of testing Gopakumar, and like Lord Narasimhadeva asked Prahlad Maharaj for benediction? And should we prepare our heart to say not to anything but pure devotion in Goloka-Vrindavan? Or is this too general?
No, that's the goal. That should be our desire. That should be our prayer. Actually, Rupa Goswami says that rather than pray to see the Lord or to pray for the Lord's presence, we should pray for the mercy of the Lord. Because when you get the mercy of the Lord, you automatically see the Lord. You'll get the Lord, you'll get His mercy, and that means you get everything else along with it. So just pray for the mercy and pray for pure devotional service. That's all. And continue doing what you're doing in the body you have, in the place you are, with the service you have, and everything will be revealed to you. The reason we don't realize it is because our faith is not strong enough. There's still contaminations. But those contaminations are removed by the process of devotional service, pure devotional service. So in our stage, even if we have deeper realization, even if we are liberated, while we're here in this body, in the material world, we should act as though we're neophytes. We should act humbly. Give respect to everyone. Don't expect respect for ourselves. And if we get disrespect, give respect back, no matter what. Second verse of Shikshastaka. The Lord Nam Namokari Bahodan Nija Sarva Shaktis. The holy name contains the full power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nija Sarva Shaktis. It has all of the power of the Supreme Lord Krishna, fully. Nitya. Then the last line, and then Lord Chaitanya says, but despite all of these facilities, that you have so many names, and every name is fully powerful. So I have a vast array of names to choose from. And even though there's no hard and fast rules to chant, I can chant anywhere, anytime. Still, I don't have any taste. That's our problem. Then the next verse, following from that last line of the second verse, is Trinadapi Sunichina, Taronapi Seshtana, Amanina Manarina, Kirtaniya Sadhari. This is how you get the taste. By being humble, by admitting, that you're just a speck in the universe, and that everything's being controlled by someone else, not by you. And then chant. And then Kirtaniya Sadhari. Then you can chant all the time. And then from there, the anarthas are removed and all of the Ainanda Tununja Kinkaram, Paditam Ma Vishamevu, Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim, Kavitam Vajagadeshikamye, Mama Janmani Shure, Bhavatad Bhaktir Haitaki. Not even liberation. Janmani. Not even liberation. We don't care if we're liberated. It's beyond the desire for vaikuntha, beyond desire for liberation. That is the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this literature occurred before Lord Chaitanya appeared. So Lord Chaitanya gave us Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is leading up to the Gaur Purnima. There's been a lot of things coming out, from the GBC, about Chaitanya Charitamrita. I haven't joined in on that so much because I'm right in the middle of proof hearing the first audiobook ever of the complete Chaitanya Charitamrita, including all its purports. So I'm completely absorbed every day, 5 hours a day, every day, hearing Chaitanya Charitamrita. In other words, Prabhupada has given us everything. Now we just have to accept it. And even if we still have, contaminations, or even if we are, in a body that doesn't allow us to do everything we want to do, and all of that stuff, even if we're Shudra, even if we're Vaishya, even if we're in another lower kind of body, but we are being taken back to Godhead by Prabhupada. We have to follow the regular principles strictly and chant our rounds dutifully every day, our Gayatri mantras if we're second initiated. And then we will get everything. Then our mind will settle down and restlessness will go away. But we'll be in anxiety because we want to do something for Krishna. We want to help Lord Chaitanya spread this movement. We want to help Srila Prabhupada because he came to the West and gave us everything. We didn't know anything. So gratitude. I heard it from someone, maybe it was Radhanath Maharaj or somebody, that the foundation or the cornerstone of the house of bhakti is gratitude. Hare Krishna. Shri Brhad Bhagavatamrta ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. So we'll see you tomorrow night, same time, same place, same topic. The creme de la creme de la creme. De la creme, 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 de la creme. The unlimited variety of tastes in this Krishna consciousness movement. The holy name of the Lord. Nam Sankirtan. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow.